So I thought I would do a prequel for the tarot story time. Oh, I had two decks together. Oh, sheesh. Oh, that's crazy. I shuffled them apart. Who's this story about? This story is about the sleeping prince. The sleeping prince never had a chance to speak. Not because he was disliked and people talked over him, or because he never had an opportunity or anything worth saying. It was because he was murdered before he learned how to talk. He was a sweet boy, and the prime of his life was spent snoring and sleeping and crying and shitting. And for whatever reason, this had made him enemies. This little sleeping prince didn't have enough language to form memory. All he had was feeling. And he could feel that the men and women who watched over him while he rested didn't like him very much. It really doesn't make sense to be so angry at such a small creature. I think the secret was about who the prince would one day grow up to be. A beautiful light, a shining star that everyone would look to, an energy that would bring peace and understanding to the world. And that was unacceptable for the creatures that stared over the sleeping prince. They delighted in distress, destruction, confusion, chaos. To construct chaos, you needed clarity of what would be to come so you could counteract it. And they use this clarity to come up with a cruel plan They looked into this sleeping prince's fate and saw how it would disrupt his. And they knew that in order for him to rise into this role, this little creature could never speak. This little baby prince would grow to be the most profound priest in the whole land. He would save countless lives and heal so many hearts just with the power of his voice alone. So they used the powers of their evil group to locate him, to capture him. Before he was able to grow the skills he would learn that would protect him from such threats. This group found him defenseless, because that would be the only time he would be weak enough to be killed. What are we speaking of when we say he? Because there's a group, but someone wouldn't rise like a. The cost of one particular energy rested on this sleeping prince never waking up. Another sweet prince, a lover boy who is not even born at the time. They looked deeply into the prophecy and found someone else who had the same power of speech, the same potential to take the world by storm with the power of his voice, but who wouldn't destroy their will. The will that they use magic to spit in the face of God over. They were children. And neither the false heir who had yet been born or the sleeping prince knew all of these futures that had been planned for them. They just had these soft, rich dreams of a world that they would never truly know. the sleeping prince because he would never wake up and experience it for himself in the false air. King of Swords, the King of Rods. The Six of Rods. Because the beauty of this other air would never be fully realized because his natural eloquence and grace would be perverted by this group. And he would be forced to perpetrate their evil. At least that's what they planned. What happened to the sleeping prince? They were successful in ending his life. But they were not successful in ending his love. The soft emotions of the joy that he would never get to experience, the passion and thrill for the world that he never got an opportunity to walk in, survived. Although his flesh burned. Fate had another plan for the sleeping prince. For the future that he was supposed to bring was too beautiful to become some griefed false prophecy. The injustice of this group was too great. So fate interceded. And instead of this sleeping prince's soul disappearing into oblivion, it was placed elsewhere. And it was given a second chance. He would become a dream himself. Although some might consider him a nightmare, invisible, intangibly reaching out and giving those who deserved it respite and frightening those who decided he didn't deserve to experience any type of joy. A strange fulfillment of a horrible wish. He would curse those who seemed to destroy him by making sure that any chance of their fate was surmounted by just as an evil fate themselves. He would become an animalistic energy that targeted those who targeted him, and he would do so efficiently. Any chance they might have had of countering him or living a peaceful life where he would be alive and experience his own bliss was not to be found. An intangible threat that met them at every chance of reveling in their victory. And the sleeping prince, more a feeling, more a dream than anything that could truly be held, moved forward and did so without ceasing, without thinking, but feeling agony in his loneliness. And this agony pushed him forward through time, space, through bloodlines. Few really understanding what it even was, but this shadow that wouldn't leave them alone, that brought torment and fear, that brought fates worse than death. Very few could even connect to this energy without losing themselves to it and going mad themselves. Until one day, the sleeping prince found a lonely child with maybe as much promise as he had in her room, isolated, mumbling to herself, playing with her stuffed animals, giving them extravagant journeys to go on, amazing mysteries from all the movies she had seen. And the bulking, terrifying, animalistic beast descended upon her. And she asked, "Would you like to play with me?" And this disarmed the beast that was the sleeping prince. Stopped him in his murderous tracks. The things he would destroy around her didn't seem half as appealing. the spirit, less beast than boy, but still a boy in some real way, understood rather, that vengeance would always be a part of his soul, always be a part of his power. He'd always have an ability to see through the veil and destroy whatever he needed. And he felt so powerful and strong in his ability. He felt so sure of his desire. But when that little girl offered him to play, he realized that's what he really needed. And he and that little girl played spies together and all sorts of fun games. Rumor is they're still best friends to this day.